Part 2 video series of Florida Administration Code 62730, Florida Department of Environmental Protection 62730, hazardous waste. Alright, 62730-180 standard applicable to owner of the operator for the hazardous waste treatment, storage, disposal facility. The department adopted the reference Title 40 CFR Part 264, revised July 1st, 2010. Florida Rules Gateway reference 00604, including appendix exemptions described in paragraph 1A through C of this section. A, the Project XL site specification regulation, other site-specific regulation, the Title 40 CFR Part 264-1, G12, 264-301-1, 264-1030-1, 1030D, 264-1050G, 264-1080E, 264-1080F, and 264-1080G. The following sections are applicable to only authorized states. Title 40 CFR 264-1F and 264-149 and 264-150. The following optional amendments. The amendments to Title 40 CFR 264-141 and H 264-147G1 and 264-151G and 264-151H2 the Federal Register dated with September 1st, 1988. The Title 53 Federal Register 339338. The amendment to Title 40 CFR 264-143F10, 264-140F11, 264-151F, 264-151G, 264-151H1, 264-151H2, and the Federal Register dated in September 16, 1992, 57 Federal Register 42832. And the amendment to Title 40 CFR 264-112C and 264-118D, the Federal Register, September 28, 1988, Title 53, Federal Register 37912, for adoptional amendments of the paragraph C of the language immediately prior to the effective dates over the reference to Federal Register remains in effect. 2. The Department has adopted that reference to Title 40 CFR Part 265 revised in July 1st, 2010, Florida Reference Rule 00604, including all appendixes within the exemption described. Paragraphs 2A and 2E of this section, subpart R of the Project XL specification in Title 40 CFR 265-1C 15, 265-1030C, 265-1050F, 265-1080E, and 265-1080F, and 265-1080G. The following sections are applicable to the unauthorized states. Title 40 CFR 265-1C4 and 265-149, 265-150. An error of the Title 40 CFR 265-340B2 with hereby corrected with the replacing Title 40 CFR 265-340B2 as published in September 30, 1999. Federal Registry Title 64, Federal Registry 52828. The amendments to Title 40 CFR 265-141H and 265-147 of the Federal Register dated in September 1st, 1988. Federal Register Title 53, Federal Register 33938, and Title 40 CFR 265-143E10 and 265-145E11. The Federal Register dated in September 16, 1992. Title 57, Federal Register 42832, and Title 40 CFR 265-1112. 265-112 and 265-118D, the Federal Register dated in September 28, 1988. Title 53, Federal Register 37912. For the optional amendments to paragraph E of the above language and effective immediately prior to the effective date reference in Federal Register domain effects. Alright, the 3, the Department adopted reference Title 40 CFR 264-112C1 and 264-118D1, 265-112C3 and 4, 265-118D3 and 4, revised in July 1st, 1988. The Department adopted reference to Title 40 CFR 264-143F10, 264-145F11, 264-147G1, 264-151F, 264-151G, 264-151H, and 264-151H2, revised July 1st, 1988. Alright, owners and operator for the hazardous waste treatment, storage, disposal facility shall submit the biannual reports required in the Title 40 CFR 264-75 as adopted the reference to subsection 62730-181. Florida Administration Code 265.75 adopted the reference subsection 62730-182. Florida Administration Code of Department on the Form 62730-908 adopted in subsection 62730-153. Florida Administration Code 62730-900. Florida Administration Code contains the invitation obtaining a copy of this form. 5. The The owner operated with a permitted hazardous waste facility who desires to locate the transfer facility of the hazardous waste facility shall apply with the permit modification. The permit modification shall require the public notice described in Rule 62-732-292. Florida Administration Codes. Unless otherwise expected with the corrective action, final assurance of requirements pursuant to state federal law, the owner and operator of the hazardous waste facility shall demonstrate the compliance with the financial assurance requirements of the Title 40 CFR Part 264 Part H and has adopted the reference to subsection 62-731-81 Florida Administration Codes Title 40 CFR Part 265 Subpart H for adopted with the reference to section 262-731-82 Florida Administration Codes using the following forms hereby adopted and incorporated with the reference to the forms obtained by the Internet of the Department of State, Florida, U.S. Waste Quick Topics Forms, page 62-730 HTML, containing hazardous waste regulation MS 4560 with the Division of Waste Management, the Department of Environmental Protection, 2600 Blairstone Road, Tallahassee, Florida 32399 2400. A hazardous waste letter with the Chief Financial Officer to demonstrate the financial assurance for the closure and post-closure for the corrective action form 62-73900 Form 4A, effective April 23rd, 2013. Florida Rules Gateway Reference Number 020779. Florida hazardous waste facility letter for the Chief of the Financial Officer to demonstrate financial responsibility, liability, closure, post-closure, or corrective action form 62-73900 Form B, effective April 23rd, 2013. Florida Rules Gateway Reference Number 02080. Hazardous waste Incorporated with the guaranteed demonstrated financial assurance for the closure, post-closure, corrective action, Form 62-73900 4C, effective January 5th, 1995. Hazardous Waste Corporate Guarantee of Liability Coverage 62-73900 4D with effective January 5th, 1995. Hazardous Waste Facility Treatment Trust Fund Agreement to demonstrate financial assurance for the closure and post-closure, corrective action 62-73900 4E with effective January 5th, 1995. Alright, Hazardous Waste Facility Standby Trust Fund Agreement to demonstrate with the financial assurance of the closure, post-closure, corrective action 62-73900 4F with effective January 5th, 1995. Hazardous Waste and Irrevocable Letter of the Credit demonstrated financial assurance for the closure, post-closure, corrective action 62-73900 4G effective January 5th, 1995. Hazardous Waste Facility Financial Guarantee to demonstrate the final assurance of the closure and post-closure, corrective action 62-73900 4H effective January 5th, 1995. And I Hazardous Waste Facility Performance Bond demonstrated financial assurance for the closure, post-closure, corrective action 62-73900 4I with effective January 1st, 1995. Alright, J, Hazardous Waste Financial Assurance Certificate demonstrating financial assurance for the closure, post-closure, corrective action 62-73900 4J with effective January 1st, 1995. Hazardous Waste Facility Certificate Liability Insurance Primary Policy Form 62-73900 4K with effective January 1st and January 5th, 1995. Hazardous Waste Facility Criteria Certificate Liability Excess Surplus Policy 62-73900 4 4L, effective date January 5th, 1995. M, the Hazardous Waste Facility Endorsement Primary Policy 62-730-904M, effective January 5th, 1995. And Hazardous Waste Facility Endorsement Excess and Surplus Policy Form 62-730-904 and effective January 5th, 1995. Hazardous Waste Facility Letter of Credit demonstrating liability coverage 62-730 904-0, effective date January 29, 2006. Hazardous Waste Facility Surety Bound to the Administrative Liability Coverage 62-730-904P, effective January 29, 2006. Hazardous Waste Facility Trust Fund Demonstrating Liability Coverage is Form 62-730-904Q, effective January 29, 2006. Hazardous Waste Facility Standby Trust Fund Demonstrating Liability Coverage Form 62-730-904R, effective date January 29, 2016. 2006. Once again, skipping the rulemaking, 62-731-81 Standard Management Specific Hazardous Waste Specific Type of the Hazardous Waste Management Facility. The Department adopted the reference of Title 40 CFR Part 266, revised in July 1st, 2012, Florida Rules Gateway Reference Number 02189. Owners operating the facility clamping the exemption to regulations under the Title 40 CFR 266-20B shall maintain detailed operation record that may be used to determine if the claim exemption is valid. The record should be retained for at least 3 years and may be available to the Department upon request. Alright, 62-730-182, criteria determination whether the change of the constitute substantial modification certain existing hazardous waste facilities that otherwise exempt from the statutory location standards. This section applies only with the transfer facilities which store shipments for the hazardous waste that are required to manifest for the facility, including federal facilities which treat, store, to dispose shipment of hazardous waste generated off-site and required to manifest. So this section does not apply to the manufacturing power generated industrial operator that receive the permit. The Department to apply with the permit modification to permit the treatment and storage disposal hazards were generated only on site and generated other than sites are required in permit T. The federal Permitter. The federal facility with receipt of the permit of the Department and Armament all apply for the permit modification permit for the management, storage, disposal of hazards when generated on-site and other site under command of the supervisor control of the federal facility in which the permitted hazardous waste the management operation occurs. Hazardous waste facility that does not waste that are required to be manifest a hazardous waste facility that meets all the sealing requirements of Section 403.7211 Florida State Statute. The section shall apply with the pending of the permanent application for the department and has not issued a final order. 3. Any applicant who submits the application to Section 403.722 for the permit of the many modify the hazardous waste stream of the source for disposal which does not comply with the location standard Section 403.72211 must include this demonstrated modification as non-substantial in the definition defined in 62.730.182 for Florida Administration Codes. Substantial modification under subsection means the changing operation structure permit conditions that permitted the TSD any change with the transfer facility notification submitted with the department in accordance with subsection 62.730.171.2 Florida Administration Code with the responsible expected lead with a substantial increased potential impact risk of the impact from the release of the facility as follows. A substantial increase of the potential impact with the release of the motion means with the potential increase of the distance of the facility with the life-threatening concentration of the hazardous substance may occur with the instantaneous release based on the proposed modification versus the threat of existing operations determined in accordance with the subsection 62.730.182.5 Florida Administration Code. For the purposes of the section of the concentration hazardous waste hazardous substance will be deemed to be life-threatening when the concentration of such hazardous waste substance is going to cause susceptibility, sensitivity, and individuals and expensive excluding hypersensitivity, hypersusceptibility, individuals experiencing irreversible, serious, long-lasting effects impaired ability to escape. Be accepted as provided in subsection 62.730.182.7 of the Florida Administration Code. Substantial increase the risk of the management release management of the additional waste codes, increase the number of the area of the treatment storage disposal units, increase the volume of the hazardous waste management of the hazardous waste facility, which includes the transfer facility. 5A, the demonstrated required with the subsection 62.730.182. 3, but the owner of the operator shall analyze the report. One worst case for this release scenario is estimated to create the greatest distance and direction from the inhalation toxic endpoint determined in accordance with the hierarchy reference in subparagraph 62.730.182 of 5G1A Florida Administration Codes. Number 2, one of the worst case release scenarios is estimated to create great distance and direction flammable endpoint defined in subparagraph 62.730.182 5G Florida Administration 1B, Florida Administration Code, the resulting release of the regulated flame substance under the worst case defined paragraph 62.730.182 5G Florida Administration Codes. B. The worst case of the release of the quantity shall be greater than the following for the substance in the tank, for example, the reactor, the vat, kettle, boiler, cylinder, other container, for example, the drum barrel, with the greatest amount of potential handled single tank container, taking the amount account of the administrative control of limited maximum quantity. The substance implies the greatest amount of the potential for the pipe, but taking account of the administrative control of limit of the maximum quantity. C. For the toxic normal release gas, the ambient temperature held with the gas and limited liquid under pressure, that the owner operator shall assume the quality of the vessel pipe is determined by the paragraph 62.730.182 5B with the Florida Administration Code. Release of the gas over 10 minutes. The release of the rate of the 10 minutes shall be assumed to be the quantity divided by the 10 unless passive mitigation systems are in place. For the gases held in refrigerated liquid at ambient temperature pressure, if the release substance is not contained with the passive mitigation system and contained with a pool with it on a depth of 1 centimeter, the owner operator should assume the substance released is in a gas 10 minutes. The release substance is contained with the passive mitigation system with a pool in deep or greater than 1 centimeter. That the owner operator may assume the quality of the vessel of the pipe determined in paragraph 62.730.182.5B of the Florida Administration Code is built instantaneously to form a liquid pool. The volatilization rate, the release rate should be calculated with the boiling of the substance conditions specified in paragraph 62.730.182.5D Florida Administration Codes. For the toxic substance, normal liquids, the ambient temperature for the owner operator shall assume the quality of the vessel pipe is determined by the paragraph 62.730.182.FB Florida Administration Code spilled spontaneously for the liquid pool with the surface area of the pool shall determine the assuming liquid speed with 1 centimeter deeper than less. The passive mitigation system also in place to contain the spills limit surface area where the passive mitigation is in place. The surface area is contained in liquid and shall calculate the volatilization rate. The owner and operator may take into account the actual surface characteristics of the actual analyzing volatilization rate. Volatilization rate shall account for the highest daily maximum temperature occurring within the past 3 years for the temperature for the substantial vessel. The rate of release air shall be determined the violation rate with the liquid pool. The owner operator may use the public available technique, methodology, or the account of the modeling conditions are recognized by the industry as applicable to the part of the current practice. Proprietary models of the account of the modeling conditions may be used to provide owner of the operator allow for the implementation agency access to the model, describe the model feature of the difference with the public available models upon request. Either for flammable gas, the owner and the operator shall assume the quality of the substance determined under the paragraph 62, 731A2 FB, and with the Florida Administration Code of the Provision, paragraph 62, 731A2 5E1 and 2, and Florida Administration Code, the vaporized result in vapor cloud explosion yard factor for 10% available to energy release explosion shall be used to determine the distance to explosion endpoint of the model with the use of the triotronolite and or TNT equivalent method. For flammable substance, the normal the gas for the ambient temperatures and handle for the gas and liquid under the pressure, the owner and operator shall assume the quantity of the vessel pipe to determine the paragraph 62, 731A2 5B for Florida Administration Code is the release of the gas over the 10 minutes. The total quantities shall be assumed involved with the vapor cloud explosion. For flammable gases handled with the refrigerated liquids, the ambient pressure, a released substance is not contained with a passive mitigation system over the contained pool with a depth of 1 centimeter less than the owner or operator shall assume the total quantity of the substance released in the gas in 10 minutes. Total quantity will involve the vapor explosion. If release of the substance and contained with the passive mitigation system of the pool and direct greater than 1 centimeter, the owner or operator may assume the quality of the vessel pipe determined in paragraph 62, 731A2 5B. Florida Administration Code spilled instantaneously with the formed liquid pool with the volatilization rate release rate the calculated with the boiling point substance condition specified in paragraph 62, 731A2 5D of Florida Administration Code. The owner and operator shall assume the quantity of the becomes the vapor of the first 10 minutes is involved with the vapor cloud explosion. For flammable liquids, owner operator shall assume the quantity of substance determined under the paragraph 62, 731A2 5B. The Florida Administration provision of the subparagraph 62, 731A2 5B1 and 2. Florida Administration codes for vaporized the result. Resulting vapor clouds explosion yielding a 10% of the available energy release of the explosion shall be determined the distance of the explosion endpoint with the model based on the TNT equivalent methods. For regulated flame substance of the normal liquid ambient temperature, the owner and operator shall assume the entire quality of the vessel pipe determined in paragraph 62, 731A2 5B with the spill instantaneously to form the liquid pool. The liquid temperatures below the atmospheric boiling point, the volatilization rate should be calculated in conditions specified in paragraph 62, 731A2 5D. The owner operator should assume the quantity which becomes the vapor in the first 10 minutes is involved in vapor cloud explosion. The owner and operator may use the commercial publicly available to any dispersing model techniques provided by the techniques accounting model conditions recognized by the industry applicable to the current practices. Proprietary model for the counting model conditions may be used to provide the owner operator allows the implementation agency access the model to describe the model features the difference from the public available models upon the request of the choice of the model to show use the parameters. Alright, 1. The following endpoints shall be, the inhalation of toxic endpoints shall be determined with the hierarchy provided by the Technical Report Substantial Modification Rule 6230 to 730, Florida Administration Code dated August 1st, 2008, hereby and adopted and incorporated with reference B. The flame points vary according to the scenario studied. 1. The further explosion overpressure of 1 pound per square inch, the radiant heat and exposure of the radiant heating 5 kilowatts per square meter of 40 seconds. 3. However, the lower the flammability limit concentration of the flammability constitutes the air exceeding 25% of the lower flammability. 2. The owner operator shall use the wind speed of 1.5 meters per second, 5 L atmospheric stability class in the Pascal Clifford system. The owner operator shall have the highest daily maximum temperature in previous 3 years, the average humidity of the site, the basin temperature, humidity gathered in stationary source, the local meteorological station. In the worst case, the least toxic substance shall be analyzed with a ground level of 0 feet release. Part 5. The owner and operator shall use either the urban rural topographically. Use appropriate urban means that there are many obstacles in the immediate area. Obstacles including buildings and trees. Rural means there are no buildings immediately and the terrain is generally flat and unobstructed. The owner and operator shall ensure the tables and models and the dispersion of the analysis for the toxic substance are appropriate account of the gas density. For the worst liquids other than gas, liquid refrigeration only should be considered releasing the highest daily maximum temperature based on the data of the previous 3 years appropriate with the stationary set source, a process temperature which is higher. The consideration of passive mitigation. Passive mitigation may be considered with the analysis worst case, provided the mitigation is capable of withstanding the release event triggering scenario with its still function intended. The factors selecting the worst case scenario, notwithstanding the provision of paragraph 62, 730, 82, 5B of the Florida Administration Code, the section owner operator shall select the worst case for the flammable substance, the worst case for the toxic substance scenario based on the following factors. If such a scenario would result in the greater distance to endpoint defined in the subparagraph 62, 730, 182, 5G1, Florida Administration Code is beyond the statutory source of the boundary and scenario provided within paragraph 62, 730, 82, 5B, Florida Administration Codes in section. Smaller quantities handled with a high pressure process temperature is on or pressure of the proximity boundary or the station of the stationary source. Alright, 6. In the demonstrated required 62, 730, 182, 3, with the owner and operator shall analyze the report the physical chemical characteristics of hazardous waste to be stored, including ignitability, corrosive reactivity, toxicity, volatility, together with a proposed restriction of the type of the hazardous waste to be stored. The maximum value of each of the type of the hazards will be stored, together with a proposed restriction of the type of the end or volumes of waste to be stored. Operating method, techniques, practice for the undertaking of the facility hazardous waste and for which the life-threatening concentration would occur with the offsite when the spill fire with the accident release. The rest of design improvement to operational restriction other than set forth through this rule proposed in the owner and operator. Even no protection of the fire department may be used. Passive fire protection means not active fire protective measures may be used to assume to be effective and demonstrated. 7. The modification listed in paragraph 62, 730, 82, 4B with the Florida Administration Code shall be considered with a substantially increase for the risk of the impact of the evaluated on the basis of the unit-to-unit basis. Equivalent criteria with the following conditions are met. A. In addition, with any additional units expanded areas are separated with adjoining hazardous waste storage treatment, the disposal units to areas of the 4-hour fire-rated walls. 2. Separated for the existing hazardous waste storage treatment disposal units in areas with sufficient distance to be specified with the site of the specific permit authorization based on the flammability, explosion potential permitted with the waste type of the maximal permitted mass of the volume, the type of the containers, building materials, the available data of the wind speed, the relative humidity, the capacity of the fire suppression system, pressure, presence of the natural and man-made features between existing proposed units. With such spill with fire, other accidental release will not really result with the spread of fire and spill. Other accidental release to new units or units. B. Interior to emergency. A. Egress lightning and provided with all hazardous waste treatment, storage, disposal, transfer, destruction. Noted of the National Fire Protection Agency provides design standard egress lighting of the National Fire Codes. Exterior emergency lighting provided with exterior all hazardous waste treatment, storage, disposal, and transfer. Facility hazardous waste management, including loading and unloading, transport, vehicle parking, and noting areas. Noting the National Fire Protection Agency Association provides design standard with exterior emergency lighting with the National Fire Codes. Secondary commitment is provided with all the loading and unloading areas. The secondary containment of the system with sufficient capacity to contain with the total volume, largest value, containing of 10% of the molten total volume with the maximum number of the containers managed loading and unloading area, which is greater. If the secondary containment system has not sheltered the precipitation, secondary containment system has additional capital necessary to contain precipitation, loading, and unloading 25 to 24-hour storm event. 3. For the intent of the transfer of the tank itself with the spill containment system with each of the tank connection with the spill containment system is designed to prevent the discharge of regulated substance when the transfer hose of the pipe is detached with the tank filled pipe with meeting the requirements for area 62, 761, 501E Florida Administration Codes. All transportation vehicles for the hazardous waste is stored in an incident of the transportation hazardous waste management facilities are parked on concrete asphalt surfaces. All hazardous waste management areas include loading and unloading areas, treatment, storage, disposal unit, transfer facilities capable comply with the specific requirements of Title 42 Fire Part 2, 64, Subpart C, and is adopt the reference to Rule 62, 730, 180 Florida Administration Codes. All hazardous waste management areas, including loading and unloading areas, the treatment, storage, and disposal unit, transfer facilities, comply with the communication of the alarm system of the Title 42 Fire Part 2, 64, Subpart C, including the fire and smoke alarm system adopted with the reference Rule 62, 730, 180 Florida Administration Codes. This system includes a 24-hour alarm system attended with the properly trained personnel, alarm system, and automatically transmits the single municipal fire department of the fire brigade and the emergency response agencies without delay. Concrete floors with the hazardous waste management are constructed with impervious, chemical resistant surface of the coating of the design. Construction of the concrete floors must be sealed, signed and sealed with the professional engineer according to the requirements of Chapter 471. Alright, hazardous waste treatment and storage and disposal transfer facility, used for the minimum incombustible material for the following structural elements: party and firewalls, interior bearing walls, interior non-bearing portions, columns, beams, girders, trusses, arcs, floor ceilings, roof, ceiling, assembly, exterior bearing walls, exterior non-bearing walls. J. All but the bays containing the water reactor, the Department of Transportation Class 4-3 flammable combustible hazardous waste deposit Class 2-1-3 and 4-1 and 4-2 oxidizers Class 5-1 organic pesticides .5-2 class as defined in Title 49 CF Part 73. The complete surrounded with the 4-hour firewalls and ceiling provided with automatic fire doors from the entrance to the exit. 2-hour rated ceiling is provided with all the water receiving the storage and treatment bays continues to be with contaminating compatible hazardous waste considered with a single bay with its meeting with the standard. The standard shall not be applied with the flammable combustible hazardous separated with the other waste management areas in accordance with the distance specified in paragraph 62, 731, 82, 7A2 Florida Administration Codes. Alright, K. The facility provided with the automatic fire sprinkler suppression system, fire suppression agent compatible with the predominant type of the hazardous waste management. Note that the National Fire Protection Agency provides the design standard for the fire sprinkler suppression system in the National Fire Codes. L. Lightning protection provides the interior storage treatment structure for the hazardous waste treatment and storage transfer facility. Note that the National Fire Protection Agency provides standard for the installation and lighting of the protection system in the National Fire Codes. And the owner and operator maintains real-time record of information online off-site location, identify the generator of the waste and quantity of the type of location it has with the waste of the facility, makes information accessible to the department, the county in which the facility is on, to be any municipality with the planning jurisdiction over the site of the facility, emergency response agency with the whole road under the contingency plan of the facility. N. In addition, with any security of the Title 40 CFR 264-14, the owner and operator provides a security surveillance system at the facility 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, either with an employee-trained facility personnel provided an electronic security surveillance system, which may include television, motion detectors, heat-sensing equipment, compressible gas monitors, and any combination of these capable of properly detecting unauthorized effective access, facility unhonoring conditions, identifying the operating areas, detecting discharge that could directly and indirectly cause a fire or explosion, releasing hazardous waste, or hazardous waste constituting the environmental threat of the human health. The owner and operator installs the on-site wide wind monitoring located on the real type of direction determined from the remote location of the event of the release how hazardous waste and hazardous waste constitutes in the environment. The owner and operator shall not be implemented to propose modification of the department approved the demonstrator required by this section. Alright, 62-730-183 land disposal restriction. The department adopts the reference to Title 40 CFR Part 268 reference as of July 1st, 2011, the Florida Rules Gateway reference number 01167, the all appendix exemption of the subsection 1 and 2 of the section 1, Title 40 CFR 268.5, 268.6, 268.42b, 268.44a through g, the authority implementing including sections rules remaining of the Environmental Protection Agency. However, the internal reference to Title 40 CFR 268.44, 268.38g3, 268.33b3, 268.34e3, and 268.35b3, and 268.38d3, and 268.39f3, 268.49b, 268.50a shall mean that the Title 40 CFR 268.44a through m, including the lab packs containing the D009 waste of the Title 40 CFR 268.7a9 3. Alright, 62-730-185, the standard of the Universal Waste Management. The Department adopts the reference to Title 40 CFR Part 273, revised in July 1st, 2008. Any person seeking to add hazardous waste to any category hazardous waste to the section of any may petition Section 120.54.7 Florida State Law or for Title 40 CFR 260.23 has adopted the reference to subsection 62-730-021 Florida Administration Codes 273.80 and 273.81 and must be adopted the reference to 62-730-185-1. Alright, 62-730-186, the Universal Pharmaceutical Waste. The requirements for the section apply for the hazardous waste pharmaceutical that defined pair as 62-730-186-4E with well managed for the Florida and the large or small quantities handled the Universal Pharmaceutical Waste as defined in paragraph 62-730-186-4F and L. including personal who handle the universal pharmaceutical waste on an infrequently and episodic basis, as well as those who handle such routinely and periodically. The requirements of this section do not apply with the pharmaceutical waste that is not hazardous waste. Pharmaceutical that may, not being discarded that are one returned to reasonable exemption for the credit for the pharmaceutical reverse distribution system manufacturer who will sell reserve distributors in accordance with agreement and policy of the manufacturer due to the oversupply and expiration of the recommendation shelf life manufacturer recall shipping of the damaged exterior package to donate to the charitable organization described in the Internal Revenue Code of the permanent pursuant to the requirements of Chapter 64 F12 sold to the person who will sell and does not discard the pharmaceutical. C. Pharmaceuticals are biomedical waste that is defined in Section 403703 Florida State Statute. Spill residue, clean up the materials media that may contain with the pharmaceuticals as well as spill and discharge and raw materials and ingredients used for the manufacturing of pharmaceuticals. Hazardous waste. Pharmaceuticals considered the universal waste rather than referred to hereby after as universal pharmaceutical waste. The Florida managed in accordance with this section. Hazardous waste material pharmaceuticals are not managed universal waste in accordance with this section shall be managed in accordance with Chapter 62-730 Florida Administration Code shall be disposed and permitted hazardous waste storage in the storage disposal facility. Definitions as used consumer packaging means the packaging with the surrounding enclosure of the container formed intended suitable for healthcare retail venue rejected during the manufacturing process as long as enclosed with the bottle or jar tube the ampule package of the final distribution of the healthcare retail venue. Alright, B. The container means the receptacle such as the bottle, jar, tube, ampule, and into which the pharmaceutical place for the package and transported intended with the distribution dispensing to ultimate use that does not include any element of the pharmaceutical intended to be absorbed, inhaled, ingested. Distributor means distribute means to deliver the pharmaceutical means of the other administrative dispense. D. Distributor means the person who distributes. E. The hazardous waste pharmaceutical means the non-viable pharmaceutical is defined in paragraph 62-730-186-4-1 and 62-730-186-4-H. Florida Administration Code respectively exhibit the characteristics described in Title 40 CFR Part 261 Subpart C listed with the hazardous waste pursuant to Title 40 CFR Part 261B Subpart D of the formulation includes the commercial chemical product listed in Subpart D as the sole active ingredient with the entire formulation is considered the hazardous waste pharmaceutical unless excluded by the Title 40 CFR 261G 261.3G but the pharmaceutical becomes waste and no longer the viable the defined paragraph 62-730-186-4 and Florida Administration Code. The discussion may be discussed in pharmaceutical when the pharmaceutical is banned described in Title 40 CFR 261.2B if the pharmaceutical does not meet the definition of solid waste under Title 40 CFR 261.2. Consider the product as long as the viable decision described and has been made is not abandoned described in Title 40 CFR 261.2B. Pharmaceuticals that are produced in pharmaceutical manufactured with reasonable expiration sales return delivered with reasonable expiration expectation the credit of the manufacturer wholesale reverse distributed in any type of the waste of the broken non-viable discarded on the decision has been made to discard the viable pharmaceutical and most of the non-viable pharmaceuticals that are hazardous waste may be handled with the universal waste under this rule title 49 CFR Part 261. All sections thereof are considered within this paragraph has been adopted with reference state regulations subsection 62-730-031 Florida Administration Codes. Alright, F. The large quantity handler of the universal pharmaceutical waste means the universal waste handler is defined in Title 40 CFR 273.9 but is adopted in subsection 262-730-185-1 Florida Administration Code at any time. 1. Accumulates over 5,000 kilograms more than total of the universal pharmaceutical waste batteries, pesticides, thermostats, lamps, and pharmaceuticals calculated collectively, which includes some of the amount of the universal pharmaceutical waste. 2. Accumulates universal pharmaceutical waste consisting of more than 1 kilogram but total of the pharmaceutical listed in Title 40 CFR 261.33A is adopted in subsection 62-730-031 for the Florida Administration Code. The actuated has to state for the P listed waste to designate for the large quantity handler a universal waste and retained through the end of the calendar in which the universal waste is identified in subparagraph 1 and 2 of the paragraph 62-730-186-4F is accumulated. G. The manufacturer means the person who prepares the derived the manufacturer produces the pharmaceutical. The pharmaceutical means the manufactured chemical product that is intended to be inhaled, ingested, injected, topically applied with the diagnosis, cure of the mitigation, treatment, and therapy, prevention of disease or injury to the humans or animals. Non-viable means a pharmaceutical that cannot be returned to the manufacturer, wholesaler, or reverse distributor with reasonable expectation of credit and denoted with the charitable organization. Pharmaceutical that is obsolete waste like such partial intravenous formulation, partial individual used in preparation of intravenously formulation or outdated samples that are outdated items repacked for the pharmacy, partial Vials and vials used for the unit not empty for such insulin and pethidine dispensing devices, partial ointments, creams, lotions, partial inhalants, partial containers that are not empty, defined in Title 40 CFR 261.7, adapted in subsection 62.730.031 Fluid Administration Code. A patient's personal modification that medication has been left at the hospital filled with the finished products that are rejected during the manufacturing process, so long as that they are consumed packaged, such as a bottle, jar, tube, or ampule, does not support reasonable expectation credit that there are non-viable pharmaceuticals. J. Pharmaceutical reverse distribution system means the established practice to ship expired unsuitable prescription drug with the pharmacy's medical practice and over the container pharmaceutical retainers. The pharmaceutical wholesaler pharmaceutical reverse distribution then manufacturers intend to receive the credit. The items may be shipped directly with the manufacturer depending on the manufacturer return policy. Okay, reverse distributor means the person engaged with the reverse distribution of physical prescription drugs who operates a warehouse licensed with the Florida Department of Professional Regulation entitled Chapter 499 and Florida State Statute and reverse distributor. Alright, it has the management system in place for the insurance compliance applicable to Title 40 CFR Part 263.273 as in adopted Rule 62.730.021, 62.730.183, and subsection 62.730.021, 62.730.031, 62.730.161, 62.730.171, 62.730.181, 62.738.181, 1, 62.730.185, 1, 62.730.220, 1 in Chapter 62.730 Florida Administration Codes. Note that the Federal Drug Enforcement Administration has registration requirements for the person engaged with the reverse distribution of prescription drug with the controlled substance for the Schedule 2, Section Schedules 2 through 5 the promulgated with the United States Code Title 21, Section 812. Small quantity handled of universal waste means the universal waste handled defined in Title 42, Standards 273.9, adopted in subsection 62.730.185.1 for the administration codes. Accumulated 5,000 kilograms more than total universal waste, batteries, pesticide, thermostat, lamps, pharmaceutical collective, which includes the sum of the amount of universal pharmaceutical waste. Accumulate universal pharmaceutical waste consisting of more than 1 kilogram total pharmaceutical listed in Title 40 CFR Part 261.33E with adopted in Section 62.730.031 the acute hazard waste in the P-load systems. Universal waste means that the following hazardous waste for the subject universal waste the requirement of Title 40 CFR Part 273 adopted in 62.730.185.1 Florida Administration Code, Chapter 62.730 Florida Administration Code, Chapter 2 62.737 Florida Administration Code, batteries and described in Title 49 Title 40 CFR 273.2, best described in Title 42.73.3, thermostats described in Title 40 CFR 273.4, lamps described in Title 40 CFR 273.5, mercury containing devices described in Chapter 62.737 Florida Administration Code, pharmaceuticals defined in paragraph 62.730.186.4E Florida Administration Codes. Viable means of pharmaceutical that can be sold, returned to the manufacturer, the wholesaler, the reverse distributor, with the reasonable expectation credit with the donor of the charitable organization meeting the definition or internal revenue coup permitted in accordance with the Chapter 64F12 Florida Administration Code. Wholesaler means any person that sells, distributes, resells pharmaceutical is defined in 62.730.186.4E and to anybody other than the ultimate user. A large, small quantity handled with the universal pharmaceutical waste handler is prohibited. Is a prohibited form of disposing universal pharmaceutical waste, diluting the treating of universal pharmaceutical waste, except with the responding of the release described in subsection 62.730.186.10, and when managing waste described in 62.730.186.7 Florida Administration Codes. A handler except the generator, small quantity handlers, universal pharmaceutical waste, transporter of the universal pharmaceutical waste shall notify the department in writing receiving the environmental protection identification number before accumulating universal pharmaceutical waste offering such waste for transportation. Such waste shall use the form 62.739.1B or 8712F 12 Florida notification regulated waste effective date of April 23rd, 2013. Adopted reference in paragraph 62.730.152A Florida Administration Code. To do so, handler and transportation handler waste that is already notified the Department of Hazardous Waste and the management activities obtaining the Environmental Protection Agency identification number is not required to re-notify under this section. Alright, handlers shall implement the proper universal pharmaceutical waste management activities, including the following. A handler should contain the universal pharmaceutical waste that shows evidence of leakage, spillage, and damage that can leakage of the under reasonable, foreseeable conditions. A handler should manage the universal pharmaceutical waste in a way that prevents the release of our universal pharmaceutical waste component of the universal pharmaceutical waste and into the environment. The universal pharmaceutical waste shall be contained in one or more of the following containers that remains exempt, and adding or removing the waste, structural sound compatibility with the pharmaceutical, lack of evidence of leakage or spill damage that could cause leakage under a reasonable, foreseeable condition. A container that does not meet the requirements of subparagraph 62, 731, provided with the unacceptable container overpacked with the container does not meet the requirements, and tank that meets the requirements. The Title 40 CFR Part 265 Subpart J is adopted in 62, 731, Florida Administration Code is kept with the Title 40 CFR 265, 197C and 265, 200, 265, 201. A handler shall clearly label those containing the tanks accumulating with waste pharmaceutical with the phrase universal pharmaceutical waste or universal waste pharmaceuticals. Keep record of what's going on in each of the containers sufficient with allow the safe handling the proper disposal of universal pharmaceutical waste. Alright, C. A handler may conduct the following activities along with the innermost container of the individual pharmaceuticals retained intact with the close of the innermost container with the place from the other individual sealed container. The sorting and mixing individual pharmaceutical and other containers along with the pharmaceuticals are compatible. Disassembling of the package contained with several pharmaceuticals and including the individual pharmaceuticals. Removing pharmaceutical from the consumer packaging to handler universal waste may generate solid waste as a result of activities paragraph 62, 731, 7C. Handler universal pharmaceutical waste generates the solid waste to determine whether the solid waste has been identified in Title 40 CFR Part 261 Subpart C and D. Adopted in 62, 730, 031 Florida Administration Code. The solid waste hazardous waste shall be managed with compliance with the applicable requirements of Chapter 60, 730 Florida Administration Code. Handler considered the generator with a hazardous waste and subject to Title 40 CFR Parts 262 adopted the subsection 62, 731, 61 it's Florida Administration Code. If the solid is not hazardous, the handler may be managed with waste in any with the way compliance with applicable federal, state, and local solid waste regulations. E1 reverse distributor with a wholesale means the definition of universal waste handler Title 40 CFR 273.9 with adopted subsection 62, 731, 85 1 which shall meet the handlers in subsection 62, 731, 86 6 and through 12 of the Florida Administration Code in this section. R2, a reverse distributor or wholesaler that makes the determination whether the pharmaceutical is viable shall begin the process distinguishing viable pharmaceutical universal pharmaceutical waste hazardous waste within 14 days of the receipt. Complete shipment of the return with the handler if no event within more than 1 day of the receipt of the first installment of the partial shipment. B. Complete the universal pharmaceutical waste hazardous waste identification process within 24 days of the receipt of the complete shipment of no more the event, not even more than the 30 days of the event received the first initial partial shipment. Keep the record of each of the shipment returned with the name of the method clearly demonstrated with the day of the shipment, with the receipt of the day of which the reverse distributor with the wholesale determined the universal pharmaceutical waste and the hazardous waste status of all the items in the shipment. 8. The following accumulation time limit the verification practices for the handler of universal pharmaceutical waste. Small quantity handler may accumulate the universal pharmaceutical waste no longer than 1 year from the date of the universal pharmaceutical waste generated unless the requirements of statute paragraph 62, 731, 86, 8C are met. B. The large quantity handlers are accumulated universal pharmaceutical waste no longer than 6 months from the day of the universal pharmaceutical waste generated unless the requirements of paragraph 62, 730, 186, 8C. Florida Administration Codes are met. A handler may accumulate the universal pharmaceutical waste a long period of time specified in 62, 730, 186, A, and B of the Florida Administration Code. If such activity solely purpose the accumulation of some of such quantities in the universal pharmaceutical waste are necessary to facilitate proper recovery, treatment, and disposal, however, the handler bears the burden of providing the extending accumulation time of the sold there for those purposes. A handler shall be able to demonstrate the accumulation time of the universal pharmaceutical waste. The handler may, with the demonstration, place the universal pharmaceutical waste container the marking label of the container earliest date with the universal pharmaceutical waste of the container may become waste. Parking label in each of the individual item of the universal pharmaceutical waste, each of the individual pharmaceutical container with the package of date and became the waste. Maintain the inventory side of the on-site that identifies the date of each of the pharmaceutical waste became waste. Maintain the inventory in site on the system on site. Identify the date of each of the universal pharmaceutical which became a waste. Maintain an inventory system on site and identify the earliest date of the universal pharmaceutical waste and the group of the universal pharmaceutical waste or group of containers of the universal pharmaceutical waste became waste. Or 5. Using any method clearly demonstrate the length of the time universal pharmaceutical waste has been accumulating from the date from that it became waste. A handler shall ensure that all the employees handling of the universal pharmaceuticals waste shall successfully complete the program classroom instruction on the job training. The training shall ensure that the employee is thoroughly familiar with the proper waste procedures relevant to their responsibility during the normal facility operation emergency. The training shall include the responsible to release and required subsection 62, 731, 8610 Florida Administration Codes. Employees working at the handlers on April 22nd, 2007 shall successfully complete the training program required in paragraph 62, 731, 8698 of Florida Administration Code within 3 months after the effective date, and the employees are hired and assigned within April 22nd, 2007 shall successfully complete the training program within 30 days after the date of the employment or assignment to the handler's facility. The employee shall not manage the universal pharmaceutical waste unsupervised until they are complete with their training requirements. Employees shall take part of the annual review of the initial training required. Paragraph 62, 731, 8698 of the Florida Administration Code. Handlers shall ensure the annual review of this is available to employees. The handler to document training with given to each of the employees. The document shall include the employee's name, the signature date of the hire, and the assignment, the date of the training, type of the training. The training documents shall keep the handler's place for the business for at least 3 years. A handler shall immediately contain all the release of universal pharmaceutical waste, including spills, if they occur indoor. If the handler to determine whether any of the material released resulting with release of the hazardous waste, a handler shall manage such hazardous waste in compliance with requirements of Title 40 CFR Part 263-272, adopting the Rule 62-730-021, 62-730-183, subsection 62-730-021, 62-730-031, 62-730-161, 62, 730, 171, 62, 730, 181, 62, 730, 181, and 62, 730, 221. The handler considered with the generator of the material resulting from the release of the shall manage the material compliance with Title 40 CFR Part 262 with adopted in subsection 62, 730, 161 Florida Administration Code. Material resulting in release of universal pharmaceutical waste may not be managed as a universal pharmaceutical waste. 11. Off-site shipment of universal pharmaceutical waste shall meet the following requirements. A handler prohibits sending and tagging the universal pharmaceutical waste to place other than the handle reverse distributed but that was notified with the department pursuant to chapter 62, 730, 186 Florida Administration of the destination facilities defined in Title 40 CFR 273-9 with the adopted 62, 730, 185-1 foreign destination according with requirements paragraph 62, 730, 186-1K. It's 62, 730, 186-11K of the Florida Administration Codes. Alright, a reverse handler prohibited sending and taking the universal pharmaceutical plate for the handle of the reverse distributor. A reverse distributor prohibited taking sending the universal pharmaceutical waste to place other than the destination facility permitted pursuant to Title 40 Part 264 adopted in subsection 62, 730, 181 and 270 adopted in subsection 62, 730, 220. 1. Florida Administration Code. Treatment of this storage and disposal hazard with the foreign destination in accordance with the requirements of paragraph 62, 730, 186, 11K. The handler's self-transportation of universal pharmaceutical waste off-site handler becomes the universal waste transportation. The self-transportation activity shall comply with the transportation board of requirements of the Title 40 CFR Part 273 Subpart D of the Code adopted in subsection 62, 730, 185, 1 Florida Administration Code while transporting the universal pharmaceutical waste. A person who transported any more than 5,000 kilograms of universal pharmaceutical waste, more than 1 kilogram of the P-list of universal pharmaceutical will comply with the final responsibility requirements subsection 62, 730, 172 of Florida Administration Code. A handler has intended with the transportation of universal pharmaceutical waste for the meet the definition has meet of the 49 CFR Part 151 through 180, provided the duty to comply with the applicable Department of Transportation Regulation Title 49 CFR Part 172 through 180. The regulation has addressed the packaging, label, marketing, placket, card, shipment of the proper shipping paper. The handler is further revised the title, consult Title 49 CFR 172, 101 for the list of the hazardous material table summarizing the shipping requirements. After the handler would transport the universal pharmaceutical with the reverse distributor with another handler must provide the reverse distribution of the handler written information sufficient to allow the reverse distributor of the other hand to make knowledgeable decisions about the safe handling of the proper disposal of the universal pharmaceutical waste. Prior to sending the shipment of the universal pharmaceutical waste, the destination facility's originating handler shall ensure the destination facility agrees in written to receive the shipment on agreement to accept the universal waste from the handler can cover more than one shipment. If the handler sends the shipment of the Universal Pharmaceutical Waste destination's facility, the shipment is rejected by the destination facility. The original handler shall either one receive the waste back when notified with the shipment has been rejected, agree with the destination facility of the alternate destination facility to which the shipment will be sent. Whenever the destination facility received the shipment contained with hazardous waste and what labeled universal pharmaceutical waste must be not the fact universal pharmaceutical waste destination facility shall be immediately notify the department mislabeled the shipment provided with the name, the address, telephone number of the originator, handler of the destination facility shall handle the hazardous waste according to the requirements of Chapter 62, 735 Florida Administration Codes. Or J, if the destination facility received the shipment non-hazardous non-use universal waste pharmaceutical, the destination facility may manage the waste pharmaceutical any with the compliance with the applicable federal, state, and local solid waste regulations. K. 1. The handler who sent the universal pharmaceutical waste to the foreign destination, which was one of the following designated member of the country, the Organization of Economic Cooperation and Development, Australia, Austria, Belgium, Denmark, Finland, France, Germany, Greece, Iceland, Ireland, Italy, Japan, Luxembourg, Netherlands, New Zealand, Norway, Portugal, Spain, Sweden, Switzerland, Turkey, United Kingdom, subject to requirement of Title 40 CFR Part 262, Subpart 8, adopted in subsection 6730-161. 2. The handlers who sent the universal pharmaceutical waste to foreign destination other than listed paragraph 62, 730, 186, 11K1 must A. comply with the requirements of applicable to prior report of the Title 40 CFR Part 262, 53, 262, 56A 1 through 4, and 6B and 6 and B and 262, 57 adopted in subsection 62, 730, 161. Export such universal pharmaceutical waste only with the consistent with the receipt of the country and conform with the Environmental Protection Agency, the acknowledgement consent with the title defined in Title 40 CFR 262 and 2051 adopted the 62, 730, 161 Florida Administration Codes. C. provided with a copy of the Environmental Protection Agency acknowledgement of the consent for the shipment of the transportation transfer of the shipment of the export. The section applied with the hazardous waste of the pharmaceutical only with the managed handler Florida. Handlers survived to meet the regulatory requirement to receive the state of the hazardous waste facility pharmaceuticals shipped out of state. The handler shall keep the record each for the shipment of the universal pharmaceutical waste sent under another handler versus distributor destination facility foreign destination. The records consist of the written receipt manifest bill of the landing and other written documentation handler shall retain record of its place of business for the least 3 years of the day of the shipment. The record of each shipment of universal pharmaceutical waste shall include the following information. A. The name and address of the handler reverse the distributed destination facility foreign destination with which the universal pharmaceutical waste are sent. The quantity of the universal pharmaceutical waste sent the day of the shipment. Universal pharmaceutical waste left for the handler facility. The section constitutes the state authorization versus distributor and wholesale managed hazardous pharmaceutical from conditional exemption hazardous waste generators and authorization conditional exemption hazardous waste generators to ensure the delivery of the hazardous waste pharmaceutical reverse distributor wholesaler pursuant to Title 40 CFR 261 F53 261.5 F33, the Title 40 CFR Part 261 FG33, adopting subsection 60 730.031. The wholesaler is authorized with the section to manage the hazardous pharmaceutical waste of the conditional exempt hazardous waste management generator to whom distribute the pharmaceutical which become waste. Alright, 62, 730, 200, introduction, scope, procedure, and decision making.